Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly soul master today because it really sounds like I'm going to play a whole bunch of James Brown today, which isn't a bad thing by any means. But that is because today we are going to be carrying on with an adventure we started playing with Cubicle 7's excellent Warhammer Age of Sigmar RPG, Soulbound. And with me today are the stars of our Soulbound session, a session we are calling the Iron Groves of Karaznethil. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Robert.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm playing Lilicia. She is a Stormcaster Eternal, and she's a Night Quester, slightly tweaked.
Very nice. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I am John, and I'm playing Nox, the Bright Wizard Fireball Slinger, and Soulbound of Grungni.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm playing Turret Kurgison. He is a Duardan Skyrigger. If you don't know what that is, I'm basically a flying dwarf that shoots things.
Very cool. All right, so guys, let's bring Durek up to speed for where we find ourselves right now. So I'll try and use some visual aids here for your telling the story. I believe we started in Brightspear. So what brought you two originally together?
So we'd known each other for a while, and Nox was, and both of us knew, I'm drawing a blank on her name. Malgra. Who turned out to be our, oh yeah, she's right up there. Sort of turned out to be our contact for where we are now, but Lilicia was looking for a way to push back chaos. So her goal was to find artifacts or other ways that she could get rid of these things, and she found that's probably on her sheet. I should already have all the stuff ready to go, but no, I don't.
Reference to the Forge of Found Futures.
Forge of Found Futures. I was going to say something like the found of Forge Futures, but yeah.
What we did when we created when we played the first time with these characters, we sat down and rolled up a bunch of random stuff to figure out, to find out what we'll do with your character as well. So we don't know anything about him yet. So they were bound to the dwarven god Grungni, and as Robert said, you were looking for, where were you looking for the Forge of Found Futures?
Karaznethil.
Well, you learned that's where it was, but do you remember where you were looking initially?
I don't remember the specific place of learning in Brightspear, but it was... Oh, you mean where it was originally? Yeah, okay. Not where I was physically looking through scrolls.
Where you were physically... So, I'll make this easier. What Lilicia was looking through a bunch of research. Like, she may seem to be a great big, combat monster, but she did have a...
I thought you were talking about the actual physical location. She was researching. She was giant hunched over a scroll.
And do you remember what word of the forge that you found?
What word?
About say king. I'm using word in the non-literal sense. Do you remember reading about King Rumnar Grimdrak?
Yes. Yep, I got that. He was him and his peoples basically were destroyed by chaos, or his location was just... The Bastion was destroyed by chaos, and the Forge of Found Futures, I believe, was something that was protecting them for a while, but eventually...
Let's back up, because you're a little further forward here, I think. So, originally, King Rumnar Grimdrak had this a relic, an artifact from the Age of Myth called the Forge of Found Futures. It was part of the Karak Empire. And when the Age of Chaos commenced and that empire was abandoned by its gods and they began to flee, you found writing that suggested that he had fled to a place called Karaznethil. Correct, or the Iron Glade. Yeah. And what was unusual about Karaznethil?
Well, the Sylvaneth, who I'm not sure Will knows about, I always think they're elves until I remember they're not. Sylvaneth are basically sentient tree folk.
Yeah.
Sort of. And
that's the Sylvaneth. Well.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And they welcomed in the Dwarden from Karak, and they effectively became one people. I mean, sure, you don't have half Dwarden, half Sylvaneth, but you can find Dwarden tending the glades. You can find Sylvaneth basically smithing like a dwarf. And so they effectively became one shared culture. At least it was hypothesized in our group that part of that reason might be because of the Forge of Found Futures might have had something to do with that. And so it looked like something that Alicia wanted to follow up on. They went to Mulgra to see if she could get them a skyship there, or an airship. And she then related that she was from Karaznethil.
Her mother was.
Her mother was.
Yeah.
Okay. Her mother was from Karaznethil, and she has heard recently that it fell within the last 2 years to chaos. And so she is on board. She's on board with us, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And so the three of us were going towards Karaznethil when we saw you. So, and I don't know from Nox's perspective, or if anything else I've definitely missed, Kev.
No, that was great. Great summary, John. Anything to add?
Other than Nox's particular motivations for following along, that's pretty accurate. Nox did. He was using his magic sight to see the weaves of the magic, and he managed to spot, I think, Durak floating out alone in the ether or the air, and call attention to it. And then we got swarmed by big bugs.
Yeah.
They were fast. I didn't even get a chance to fireball them.
Yep. Yeah. So Will, how familiar are you with like any of the tropes of Warhammer settings?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, my Warhammer knowledge is very limited.
Oh, that's great.
I understand the whole, order chaos thing.
Yeah.
I get that. I know that much. But, I know some of the gods of chaos, like Slanesh and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's about the extent of it.
That's great.
It's not any type of in-depth knowledge. I just Googled Age of Sigmar to try and figure out where it was in the timeline.
So Age of Sigmar, it takes place in the official history of it. It is after the ending of the original old world. It is when that world ended, there were remnants of it. They had lost to chaos. And then the embers of that destruction, they formed together to make the immortal realms. And then the gods helped settle kingdoms. And there was thousands of years of history during the Age of Myth where humans and elves and Dwarden and other species remained. And then over time, the gods formed an alliance to basically form kind of the forces of order. But there are three other forces that have influence over the mortal realms. There is death, there is destruction. Destruction is personified by the greenskins, by the giants, by those kinds of things, the ogres. And then lastly, returning what destroyed the world in the first place, chaos. And in the old world setting and in 40K, there are four ruinous powers. Nurgle, god of plagues, Khorne, god of war and blood, Slanesh, god of desire and impulse, and Tzeentch, the god of magic. And in this setting, there's a fifth that has been added, and that is the Great Horned Rat, the god of the Skaven. He has ascended as a fifth ruinous power. This is called the Age of Sigmar because after so much of the mortal realms were lost to chaos, Sigmar has begun a crusade to retake. So one of the things that is, I say this every time we have new players in the setting, but I think it's something that's very cool about this setting that sets it apart from the other Warhammer settings. This is a setting of hope. There are still horrible things that are going on and whatnot, but there isn't the oppressive, like, inevitability of the decline of man in 40K or the inevitable collapse to chaos in the old world. In this world, your heroes are actively pushing back the forces of death, destruction, and chaos to try and rebuild a better and safer world. And when that's not to say that everything is going without any resistance. Chaos remains a persisting threat. They already destroyed one world. Destruction is always a unpredictable one, and death recently had a resurgence when the god of death, Nagash, who was at one time a mortal sorcerer, then a lich, now a god, emerged from the depths of the realm of death and caused a necro-quake that caused undead across the realms to surge forth and cause problems for people. The world that you're adventuring in has a quasi, kind of steampunky type quality to it because the Karazdreth overlords are quite advanced. But to give you a sense of one of the what the game expects as far as long-term play, one of the character archetypes in the core rulebook is a trader. Their whole thing is moving stuff around and trading and setting up trade routes and whatnot. So, there is also badass Stormcast Eternals, and there's, powerful wizards, and there's, clever engineers and whatnot. But the overall campaign play is about pushing back against that chaos, pushing back against doom. And one of the things one of the ways that you see that happen is in the course of the campaign, in an ongoing game, you would have a series of rumors, which would be things that might be coming and happening to the places you care about, which then can become threats, which then can become perils. And I can't remember the nomenclature, I've got them wrong, but one of them is the thing you're facing right now. It is the danger that is there. One of them is boy, they're going to be here soon. And then there is the rumors of what might be coming. And your characters, as sort of the, troubleshooters or whatnot, you choose what to deal with and what to address. And by pushing, addressing problems earlier, you may prevent the rise of doom or even push it back down. But if you aren't able to address something, doom will rise. And it gives what it appears to be is it will give the campaign a feeling of dynamism where there's constantly a shifting things in the world where you can make a difference, but there are also always things outside your control that are coming up and presenting problems for you. Let's do a little bit of dice rolling here to give Will some fodder for thinking about what brought Durek to here. So, Will, would you give us a 2d6 roll, please?
Roll 2d6. All right.
Okay, a 2 and a 4. So, Will, you may not know this, but Durek was chosen by Grungni because you defeated a terrifying foe by outsmarting it.
Okay.
Would you give us a 2d6 roll again?
Let's see what he's at. Yeah.
Okay, 4 and a 1. This is interesting. What did you gain from when you began these, when you were chosen by Grungni? You had a chronic illness that you would have died from that was healed?
Ooh.
And would you give us another 2d6 roll, please? At your convenience.
Oh, let me back over here.
6 and a 3. What did you lose? The ritual permanently changed or ruined your most beloved physical quality.
Mm.
So it could be your beard, it could be your eyes, could be something else, the color of your skin, who knows. So, before you started having these dreams, for one, you defeated some powerful thing through wit and ingenuity. Do you think that's something that happened relatively recently, or have you been dealing with these dreams and traveling with your fellow Karazdren overlords for a while before the current events that will lead us to today?
I would definitely think it was much less recent. It was more in the past.
Okay. What do you think it was? Was it some force of chaos that you defeated? Was it some powerful, ogre or Orug?
It might have. It probably was some form of chaos, because I think he kind of got touched by it some. That might be part of why he changed. So,
what was his illness before? I'm working on that. I'm trying to think, what kind of fantasy illness, what would he have had? What would have been bad? It might have been something physical, and I'm trying to think. Maybe he had something like MS. Oh,
He was losing some of his physicalness. But his mind was still razor sharp.
So I'll tell you that there is, in the same way there is other realms, there is also something called realm stone. It is a magical material that you work with from it. So every one of the realms of death, of light, of fire, of beasts, there are stones you can work with to create magical things, or quasi-magical, like the Karazdren overlords do. That also might mean that there might be dust. If you're working with that shit, then you might get particles of something. So imagine if you got the particles of, Deathstone in your body or something else, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely something that was affecting his ability, his physical abilities.
Okay. And it sounds like he was sick with that when he brought this mighty chaos beast low. Did he expect to die during that, or was he just put in a position where he had to fight?
I think he just had to. He was, I almost think, with that haggling nature of his, that's how he outsmarted it, basically. And it was maybe some sort of like, somehow it was like almost like a Faustian pact. Yeah. That he got this force of chaos in some sort of legal loophole.
Yeah. There is, I'm trying to remember here. I think it's the Keeper's Secrets is the, so the Lord of Change is Tzeentch. Keeper's Secrets might be Slaanesh.
Yeah.
Who may be bound. Ooh, let's see here. So the Lord of Change is one of the potent creatures of Tzeentch, and chaos by its nature will not be, bound by things. But there are, if any of the entities are going to be, any of the ruinous powers are going to be subject to potentially being outsmarted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is the Lord of Change. And did you trick him such that then your allies could drive them off, or was it just a bargain that was made?
No, it was a trick to get rid of them.
Okay.
Basically.
Incredible. And then seemingly afterwards, you were returned to hale and hearty because of a gift of Grungni. What is your cherished physical characteristic that you lost?
I'm thinking, let's see, let me go back up here and read this. Okay. I'm thinking it was something with his hair. Because he's a dwarf, and hair in dwarves is a big deal.
Yeah, dwarf.
Like his hair, literally. That was his thing. Big flowing locks. After this, bald. Still has a beard.
Yeah.
Bald.
Okay, love it. So then how did has he? I guess did he share at all his visions of Grungni and his feelings of connection with him after that, or did he? Because he was suddenly returned to, the issue he was having before is no longer, so he's able to, get back out there and fly in the skies of the mortal realms once again.
Yeah, I think he would have at least told, because I mean, people would be able to tell that he, all of a sudden, physically, he's back to the way he was, 20 years ago or whatever.
Okay.
So he definitely had to tell some people because he had to explain it in some fashion.
Okay. So one of the things that the heroes learned last time, our Soulbound heroes, was that there are still Karazdren who service Karaznethil. There is there were two kings, really. There's Tree Lord Grundilak and Warden King Adagrim, who ruled Karaznethil. But when it fell to the forces of Nurgle, that is when they sort of left. What you've heard is no one has seen Grundilak since Karaznethil fell, but there is a resistance with King Adagrim. So supplies are run there sometimes. But sometimes luck runs out, and I think that is when you... Why do you think you were the last one, as far as you know, to be surviving, fleeing from here, and delivering word? Do you think the ship was already down when you were still out facing these guys? Do you think something malfunctioned in your Aether rig that sent you drifting?
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. I think it was something that malfunctioned.
Okay. So this is a matter of, because you're a Dwarden, which means you're tough as fucking, granite. You probably have been drifting and being pursued by these flies for almost a week now. No food, you exhausted your supplies and whatnot. You were only semi-conscious when you arrived here. Malgra was able to grab you and bring you on deck. Guys, what happened last session to bring Durek up to speed?
Mostly travel.
Mm-hmm.
Nox was experimenting with his magic sight. I don't think he did much of note except participate in that huge fight that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Huge bugs.
Yeah,
remember it's like Starship Trooper sized bugs.
Yeah, and they were to give you a context of how powerful you guys are. Will, your mortal allies that you may be serving around side will probably have ones in skills and ones in their stats. They are much, much, much more fragile than what you guys are.
Yeah, I think we had a horde of people on the ship attacking the bugs too, and they managed to hit twice out of how many?
Yeah, one or two times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a number of them were sent over the edge without a engineer's rig. But our heroes prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although Nox got wounded a bit.
The least, I think she's got 2 wounds. Is that right?
Yes, you have 2 wounds right now.
I think you restored all of our toughness, and then we got pummeled again.
Yep.
Or you did.
Yep.
I was already way down there.
Yeah.
All right, so we're picking up on the deck. And I'll show you, Will, what the Karazdren airship looks like as well. Here you go.
Okay.
So that is where you find yourself, is on the deck. So, Leisha, you've shaken off the last of them. The fire has gone from your sword, and you guys can hear this Dwarden survivor stirring. What happens next, guys? I think what you might see initially is there's a couple of other dwarves who are grabbing. Malgra, for one, is going to dive over the side with her engineer's rig, and a couple others are trying to save those Dwarden who got knocked over the side, leaving you guys on deck.
Yeah.
For one, because we're out of the fight, Leisha, I think you get all your toughness back.
Oh, okay. That's the... Yep, got it. That's 9.
Yeah. Nox is looking a bit rattled and whatnot, and getting himself steadily on his feet.
Alicia kind of checks a couple of her wounds. You know, they're not good looking, but she's like, well, after a glance around, no other immediate threats, and then she kind of walks over to Durek, who appears to be coming out of whatever daze he was in, and crouches down next to him. And
Leisha, how many drops of Aqua Garanis do you have?
Oh, that's right, 45.
Oh, okay. So you need 100 drops of Aqua Garanis.
Yeah.
You can consume that to clear one space on your wound track.
Okay. Yeah. So
the currency in this realm, Will, is something called Aqua Garanis. It is literally the water of life. And a drop of it can restore 1 point of toughness. You have like a toughness stat, and then once that's exhausted, you then start taking wounds. Let's see here.
You said 100 drops is a wound?
100 drops to recover 1 wound.
Yeah.
And then
nowhere near enough money for that.
No.
So after a night's rest, you will clear 1 spot on your wound track as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So she goes over, she crouches next to Durek, takes her mask off, as she always does when she's just talking to somebody, and says, hello, stranger, how are you feeling?
I'm hungry. And thirsty.
See, if this was another campaign, I'd be worried that you were like a zombie or especially the way you said that. But
well, it's got to be echoing through his mask too, right? So
yeah. Oh, true. Yes. Yes. She glances over and she finds a Dwarden, probably one that looks a little less busy than the others, although I'm sure all of them are doing something important at the moment, given the ship was attacked. And she says, this man needs water and food.
One of the Dwarden says, all right, and runs off to get stuff.
Nox shuffles over there to join the conversation.
Yeah. And Lalisha says, I'm Lalisha, this is Nox, and I think conversation could wait until you've had something for your thirst.
So there's almost like a residual azuric wind around Nox from the fire, and Alicia almost has a bit of a halo from the glory of Sigmar from when she had worked her miracle. And Durek, you recognize, as implausible as it may seem, you recognize the two of them from the dreams you've had since you drove the Lord of Change away.
I was actually thinking Nox might feel some kind of connection to this dwarf as he approaches him.
Most definitely, yeah. There's something very... When you hear the voice in particular, I think you kind of stop and like, you've heard this voice before. What do you guys do? The food will return, so you're going to be able to get your mask off and get some food in you if you like.
Yeah, I think that was the next thing that Derek was going to do, is go ahead and take his mask off so they could see his face and so he could see, them and get the food and everything. But
to breathe in there is a tinge of corruption to it because of the beasts of Nurgle that were defeated on the deck, but they're really for many Caradron overlords, the coppery tang of the air in Shaman is very... it's as refreshing as what, we might find a clear, meadow or, fresh air from the ocean or whatever. Mm-hmm. Does Jurek find that relieving as well?
Yeah, he's definitely takes a deep breath, and I mean, he finally, I guess, he's been he's been uptight. He's been tense this whole week. That he's been running basically, and so now that finally some of that tenseness leaves, takes a deep breath, and you can kind of see a lot of that leave his face on exhalation.
Now, how long have you been floating out there?
It's been at least 6-7 days. You lose count. Seems like forever.
What drove you to fly solo like that?
Do they call them airships? Is that the proper term? Yeah. The airship I was on had some sort of mechanical malfunction.
It's actually the forces of Nurgle. Let me show you the illustration.
Oh, yeah, show me.
Yeah, because that's what would have been pursuing you when you got close to Karaznethil. It's been dangerous before, but this is a whole new scale of things. Let me find, where are they? Where are you guys? Boy, we've had so many one-shots in the first part of the year. I have so many images from so many different things. Let's see here. Where is it? So I'm trying to find the flies from last time. Any canter? Did we do a handout for that, actually? Now that I think of it.
The flying bugs?
Yeah. I wonder if I made a... I don't see one in here. Pursuers? No, that's different.
You dropped them in as tokens, I think.
Yeah, I thought so. There it's... So it's got to be in here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. For the images, I've gotten better about not renaming them something stupid.
That's what I was just.
So in the handouts, I do something stupid with.
About another one of those
Rockwell, here we go.
Conventions.
So this.
Yep, that was it.
Let's make this big here. This direct.
Oh my.
Imagine a swarm of 50 of those forces all just descending like a locust, a swarm of locusts upon your vessel. And among their numbers may even be some of the other unclean ones.
Right back.
I actually looked into the history of that particular faction. I was like, why would you do that to yourself?
Oh, yeah. Those disgorging Nurglings.
Yeah, it's like you feed every pleasure to the point where you become desensitized to it more and more and more, and you suddenly get disfigured, and it's...
That's Slaanesh, actually.
Oh, Slaanesh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Nurgle is the is sickness, and then there's the greater demon is the great unclean one.
Grotesque. It's like Diablo in space.
Oh yeah, and the worst element of it that is not conveyed by the illustration, which would be the smell.
Yeah.
Rot, corruption, and flies. So that's what happened to your ship, Durek. How you came to be on your own. You would have been fighting against them in the air, right? Because you're an Aether rigger. But how do you think? Do you even remember how you came to be on your own? I think you saw your ship destroyed by the forces of Nurgle.
Yeah, they basically ran it into the ground. And so I just was beset on all sides by these winged death merchants and fled.
So there's a bit of a murmur that kind of on the crew, like if this is what happened to the last airship that came near Karaznethil, like what are we doing going there?
Not to worry, we're here.
Yeah. Alicia gives Nox a slight look, but she nods her head. It's like, I think we need to keep good watch on the way in, and be prepared. But she looks over at Durek. She's like, I guess my question would be, would this seem at all unusual to her? Like why they would focus on one thing, or just that, like maybe... I was looking at the Bright Spear city guide, and they talked about these kind of attacks having been increasing recently. So would this have been something that she was already aware of? That
well, this isn't Bright Spear. This is Karaznethil.
Karaznethil. Right? So yeah,
you're heading
true.
to, and Karaznethil is located in Shamon, not in Aesir.
Yep.
But you're not. Right. You're right. Like the chaos is certainly not defeated. I think that. Yep. The fact that they took down an entire airship, like that is a concerted effort to try and do that. It's a small army that they have deployed against that. What do you think that might mean for the whatever resistance might remain in the Iron Glade around Karaznethil?
Probably not not in very good shape. When you say resistance, are you talking about the former residents of Karaznethil?
Yeah, what you've heard is Warden King Adagrim is in the groves, still fighting like a resistance against the occupiers in Karaznethil.
Yeah. So it's probably if they're able to focus on airships coming in and sending a pretty good force, it probably means that the resistance isn't either in good shape or possibly even wiped out. Is kind of how she would think of it.
Nox, Durek, what would you think?
It's definitely going to be something we're going to struggle with.
Yeah,
I think
having to fight through that to the resistance, if it's still there, will be fun. But hey, that's what we get paid the big bucks for.
Yeah.
So, Durek, one way to think of this might be to, if you've got this army and there is a resistance there, why would you not just use that to flush out the resistance? Like one of the things that Dwarden are very good at is persisting.
Stubborn.
Yeah. So the reason I mentioned that, Alicia may think that, they've already wiped them out and they're going. Durek, you might actually have a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
It is a tragedy what happened to your shipmates, but it might reflect the fact that they cannot deal with the Warden King. This is effectively like trying to prevent supplies from getting to the Warden King.
We just need to run the blockade.
Yeah. We can, we just put a big sign outside saying, we have no supplies.
We are the supplies.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Supply of death.
Yeah.
So Durek, obviously, I mean, he was running supplies to there, but Durek's destination does not seem to have been there. What do you guys make of, I guess, Durek, of having met these two strangers who have been fixtures of your dreams? And Nox, how do you react to hearing a voice that's only been heard in your hours of slumber previously?
He's not.
It's weird, for sure. It's definitely weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Nox is an overly religious person in this particular setting, but he does. He knows his soul was forged by Grungni, and it's the source of his power. So, seeing that manifest physically as a voice he's only heard in his sleep, he's starting to feel like the thumb press of Grungni in the mission at this point. It's not just he's doing this to help his friend. There's actually some driving force that's leading them somewhere, and that sparks a bit of excitement of what he might find. So he's kind of like raring to go.
Does he say anything, either Durek or Nox? Alicia's not part of the soul binding, so she wouldn't have that necessarily, but the two of you, this is something different.
Kind recognizes kind.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nox would mention that the bond that he feels with Durak.
So what does he say?
He says, I think this explains why I saw you so quickly, Durak. There's some bond here that... Do you feel it?
You're definitely familiar in a way that you shouldn't be.
Yeah. I've recognized your voice. I've heard it somewhere in my dreams.
Me too. The dreams.
Then he'll look at Leisha and it's like, does Sigmar talk to you in your dreams, Leisha?
He talks to me whenever he wants to talk to me.
As far as Nox, Leisha's like a divine servant.
Yeah.
So he's not used to this.
Yeah. I don't know. She probably wouldn't have, or would Sigmar have mentioned anything about she doesn't have any connection. It doesn't feel like to Durek.
You don't know this, but I mean, like, that from what Nox has mentioned, that there, he has been set to this task by Grungni. Mm-hmm. His soul reforged to its purpose, and it seems as if there is someone else who is part of Grungni's plan. Durek, you have had dreams as well of some ancient dwarven forge. Do you think that you would have tried to suss out what that was, or do you just put it out of your mind now that your life had been so transformed by regaining your health and whatnot?
He's probably, I'm thinking, he's fairly practical to some extent. He's an engineer, it's diagrams and measurements. So, like, he doesn't put a tremendous stock in dreams, which I think is kind of, he's weirded out by the fact that Nox is this real person. Yeah. And so, he's only now starting to think, wait a minute, I was dreaming about things that were real. It wasn't just random images or whatever.
Yeah.
So he probably didn't read anything really into his dreams until this moment.
Mm.
So it's very odd for him, I guess.
So the two of you would see that it sounds like Durek is, as he's shoveling his food into his face, he has that kind of 1,000-yard stare of trying to process what's happened, what's gone on. You have not said where you're going as of yet, and you have not told Durek of your mission.
Yeah, I was just thinking about addressing that. So Noct will stand a bit straighter and look towards the destination they're heading and says, it seems our destination that hasn't changed. It's just the need for it has become much more clear. And he'll look to Leisha and say, shall we take this one with us?
And she kind of quirks a grin and it's like, well, we can't very well throw him overboard.
We'll just float
Wouldn't
back
work.
up.
Yeah.
Yep. Wouldn't work.
And she turns back. She says, have you ever wanted to see Karaznethil?
His eyes kind of wide.
Yeah.
That would be something to see.
You would know, Durek, that the things that slaughtered your shipmates and destroyed your vessel, they come from Karaznethil.
Mm-hmm.
They're the forces of corruption there.
Rooted out at the source.
Got some fire that's itching to purge some bugs.
Drake pulls the drill launcher out, and he's like, I got some fire of my own.
Well, with my magic and your tech, we'll kill them all.
And Leisha looks at them and says, well, I guess that means I can just go rest. You let me know when you get...
We need somebody to stand in the front and distract them.
She was like, damn. Okay, I can do it.
Yeah, we're going there to fight them out, not to bring them back and study them.
Yeah.
All right. Then, is there anything else you guys wish to explore in this scene? Or you wish to talk to one another?
I don't think so, although it is interesting that this is a dwarvish god that's behind all this, or a Durden god.
Yeah. How does Jurek feel about that? Knowing his people sort of, in general, they have set the gods aside.
Yeah, it's kindling something in him, to see. Like I said, he's now all of a sudden this. It's a revelation to some extent. He's had this dream that now is becoming more real, and now he's discovering stuff about the Durden God, who's active in non-Durden necessarily peoples, and so that's interesting to him.
If you mention it, Noct will have some words to say, just bits of wisdom he's picked up. He says the Dwarven gods are slow to create, but it takes time for that metal to heat up and then to forge it, and it's usually an explosion of fire and sparks. And I think we're the sparks about to ignite the keg.
I like that.
It also describes Nox's magic pretty well too. First comes destruction, then reforging.
Anything else, guys?
Let's get some rest for we're pretty bruised and battered.
So then, why don't Leisha, you're going to get at least a day's rest here, so you can recover one of your wounds.
Sure.
And then why don't let's see here, Leisha and Nox each give us a D6 roll, please.
Yeah.
2.
Okay. 1.
Okay.
Oh, that's why I was confused. We count up our wounds. We don't count down our wounds. That's why I have no red bar.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's why you thought you were so wounded. I was wondering. Yes. I'm like, I don't remember you guys Yeah, because once you hit the threshold, that's when you start. You lose all your toughness. Then you get.
Okay.
Yeah. So the in our Imperium Maledictum game, it has a threshold too. So like you take your wounds up, but I've been counting down wounds for the enemies. So the players are often like, "What the fuck is going on the screen right now? Like, are these guys injured or not? Because I can't remember." But you know, consistency is the bugbear of small minds. So I make all right. So what is Jurek doing? As he, I will tell you, like you tell us about what sort of, you know, what your experience was like on your ship, and how are you settling into this crew?
I mean, the first thing probably he's doing is making sure his armor and everything and his weapons are okay, up to snuff, because he hasn't, you know, it's been a week. He hasn't been able to lube or grease anything, you know, and so that's probably the first thing he does after he gets done eating, is checking all his equipment, making sure everything's good to go. And then probably, I guess he would try and maybe find the captain, the skipper, and see what they needed. You know, is where can I help? Where can I fit in? What to do?
Sure. So I don't think, guys, I gave the captain a name last time, did I?
No.
Okay. So let's give him a Dwarden name here.
You still have the token for the bug fight down here at the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
Oh yeah, right. The fly. Yep. Oh yeah, those things. That's my initiative tracker.
Yes.
Going into month 2, no initiative trackers being deleted. All right. This is Captain. Let's see, Vol. Volcoghammer. Here, Captain Volcoghammer. So you are, you know, I think if your initial efforts are to make sure your Aether rig is working properly, you'll find that there is a small like workshop that everyone kind of shares, you know, while people are working down there. So you'll easily be able to get yourself among there. You very quickly as well leave a good impression of how sophisticated your rig is, how capable you are of keeping it going, and you may, if you were inclined, you may even give some tips to some of the other sky riggers of ways to sort of tweak their rigs. You know, have you considered doing this? Have you, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's when you are go before Captain Coghammer. And let me see if I've got an illustration for a Dwarden. Yeah, here we go. So she is, let me make it a little smaller here. There we go. She's busy on the ship talking about, you know, getting things ready and whatnot, and she sees you come on board and says, "Whoa, the stowaway, hey?" And she kind of smiles. "How are you settling in, Durek? Have you found everything you need in the engineer's quarters?"
Everything I needed, well, except a job. What do you need help with around here? What can I do?
Well, we can always use another pair of hands. But for now, we've made the run to Karaznethil once or twice before. But have you been more often?
I don't think he's ever been there.
You've not been there, but you've in the actual place itself. But making the run, I think you have a little while, the last little while. Do you think you're like? Was it part of your clan that was in the in that ship, or were you just a mercenary who was hiring on?
He might have been more of just a mercenary.
Okay. I think after you convinced the Lord of Change to leave, and they saw that you lost all your hair as a result of it, and you were suddenly healthy, there may be some among your community who would think like, okay, he's done something with chaos, so there may have been rumors which may have prompted you to hit the fucking road, right?
Yeah.
So, you've done the run before and you've seen things, but like you've never seen a force like what killed your last ship. So she's saying, if we can, I prefer to avoid a repeat of your last ship.
Well, I can at least tell you where not to go there.
Good. And she brings out a kind of a sheet that she rolls out, and it magically kind of creates a representation of sort of Shaman. You can see this is part of one of the ways of navigating a place like this. She sets down a couple of orreries on the thing that give some context to the magical images that are on display here, and you can see Karaznethil itself. Let me tell you what to expect from there, Durek, because I think you have not heard this. So, where is it here? So the forests surrounding Karaznethil grow on a vast floating island in the spiral crux, which is sort of like the center of, or the heart of Shaman. They grow on a vast floating island in the spiral crux where quicksilver rivers dribble off the edges in eternal waterfalls before drifting back up in mercurial bubbles. Passage to Karaznethil's island was always restricted to those who could fly or traverse the realm routes, whether they used gyrocopters, aetherendrins, sprite-given wings, or relied on magic of the noble spirits. But during the Maggotkin invasion, the servants of Nurgle worked a foul ritual on one of the mystic waterfalls, transforming it into a ribbon of sludge so thick that even clumsy, shambling plague bearers could trudge up it as if wading through a slope of mud. So as you approach, disembarking on the island's edge while evading the buzzing, flying demons that inhabit Karaznethil's skies is a task for only capable Caradron airships. Have you any insight, Durek? So that's what you would have seen the last couple of times you've gone, and this is you were only hours out from Karaznethil when that swarm of Nurgle-kin and Maggotkin attacked you. Any suggestions?
So they befouled the place.
So we've heard. Did you make contact with the Warden King? And you have not?
No.
Are you heading to Karaznethil with the others? You're welcome on the crew.
I think my future lies with them. As much as I appreciate the offer.
Well, if you change your mind, we'll leave no Dwarden without a home, particularly one as gifted with a wrench as you are.
Thank you, Captain.
In the interim, if you could take a look, any suggestions you may have for tweaking the engines. I expect we'll be flying into choppy skies as we approach Karaznethil. Any extra performance you can draw from her, we'd appreciate.
I'll see what I can do.
You've been given quarters as well. And yeah, they've given you some. You're probably lodging with one other, of the crew members.
Mm-hmm.
Then, welcome to the ship then, Durek. Anything else you wish to ask of the captain?
No.
What are the rest of you guys
No,
doing during that time?
I think Lalisha right now is probably mostly resting. But she's, while Durek was kind of working with his equipment and making sure everything was good, she probably spent some time with him if he allowed it, if he was okay with it, and kind of just trying to get a sense of, like, she asked a lot of questions like, what does this do? What does that do? She's trying to get an idea of how he will fit into any of the fights that are definitely upcoming. So she's already thinking tactically, like how's this going to, how are we going to work together in this? So, and that's probably about it for now. Like she's maybe a little bit thrown by, the dynamics suddenly changing, although she wouldn't say it. She figures, okay, Sigmar must know what he's doing and whatnot. And obviously, maybe she's even thinking from the perspective that if Sigmar felt the need to bring in another soul bond at this point, then the danger is probably higher than she was anticipating.
Now, does it trouble her that it's actually not Sigmar who brought him in? It's Grungni.
Well, true. That's true. Yeah, a bit. And
okay.
Sorry, I was but in her mind, she's thinking, okay, well, the other gods are working with Sigmar on this, so she's at least attempting to make it fit her worldview that Sigmar is in charge of all of this.
Okay.
So, yep.
And what about Nox?
I think he's spending a little bit of quiet time reassessing his outlook on Grungni, and seeing how best he can tweak his spells to benefit Durek, and maybe poking at the new kind of palpable feel he's got with his Soulfire connection, because it's probably strengthened itself now that Durek is near.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
So Durek probably feels a little. Every now and then, there's a poke to that one new connection that they share, like something's prodding at it, testing its limits.
Okay.
And I'm thinking maybe Nox develops more of an interest in actively acknowledging Grungni as he goes about, because it's just he's been like distant as far as origins for him. Now it's more like he's doing something physically, more making movement. So he's wondering, should he be more deferent? Should he be more fanatical? He's trying to decide.
So what? Where would you guys be spending your free time then? It sounds like Leisha was talking to Durek, trying to figure out that. Durek has been doing some engineering work. Nox, have you been in contemplation, or have you been on deck?
He loves being on the deck with the wind and seeing the ether and the magic in the air. Yep. So he'd probably just quiet contemplating up there where there's movement and things are active.
Okay. So you were on deck when you hear from someone above. Says, an encampment. I think there's an encampment. And you guys are to refresh everyone's memory and to give Will an introduction to Shaman. Where are we here? There's the gods. There is the mortal. Here we go. Shaman is the realm of metal. Shaman's domains are eminently mutable, changing, fleeting, melding, and breaking apart in a slow dance that has forced its inhabitants to continuously adapt. The lands that float closest to the verdant core, including the Great Spiral Crux, have water and edible greenery. The further away from the center, the less habitable the realm becomes. Trees become glinting, brassy, or silvery bark, and water becomes acidic. Liquid gold rains down from gleaming clouds, and the air becomes heavy with iron particles. Even the wildlife changes. Shimmering flocks of metallic songbirds carve iridescent trails across the sky as rust-furred predator constructs stalk iron-limbed herd beasts through copper grasses. And it is one of these drifting chunks of rock that you guys are passing near. This thing is probably I think maybe, a quarter mile in length from it, and there is verdant grasses and trees on there, but with the signatures of the influence of the wind of metal. And that's where the spy says. So if you look over, Nox, you could give us an awareness check against target number 3, if you like.
Absolutely. Awareness 3. Wow. Nox is eagle-eyed when he's on top of that shift. He doesn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm. So you look over, and what you can see is it looks like there is you can't see anyone living, but the place is big enough and there's enough thick foliage. It looks like there is an encampment there. Something built by, likely, some of the free peoples. Elves, Dwarven, and humans.
Would be a place to resupply if there's anything left over, but so there's no sign of anybody living down there? No bodies?
Not that you can see. No.
He'll tell the crew member, I got it, and he'll move into to let his friends and the captain know about it.
Okay. So we're late on this, but why don't we take our mid-session break now?
Holy cow.
Yeah, time's flying. We'll take our mid-session break, then we'll come back and see what you guys choose to do next. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. It's rare I get to be the first one back. Hey, everybody at home. Archer, George, Les still. Hope you guys are having, or folks are having a great start to your weekend. It is a lovely day in Cowtown after a bunch of rain and thunder last night. And we get to kick off the day in the Mortal Realms. So that is never a bad way to spend a Saturday morning. Well, except for what's about to happen to our heroes. Then it's never good. Let's see here. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Got to find something here. I've been waiting, John, for my shipment from whatchamacallit, from Kobold to show up, because I'm waiting for I got my New Paths book from them. That's the one that's got
Prestige.
Yeah. So it's fortunately it's regular mail, not track mail. So like I have no idea when it's going to get here, but my goodness, I am ready for it.
Yes, I love getting the new books and reading through them. Yeah,
I've got the PDF, and I've got some ideas, but I so dislike working with PDFs.
Yeah, they're a pain. I like books too, but just for convenience sake, I'm able to put up with it.
When I've got I pick up because we're really the PF1 stuff is pretty cheap now, but I got the module for those Kobold books for Hero Lab as well. So I've got I can make use of them for making characters now, but. All right.
Yeah. Some of the new updates to the iPad stuff is pretty cool because you can do a split screen.
Oh, nice.
Now. So, and it's basically you right down the half, and you can slide one to be like 90% of the screen, take it up 10% with the other one, and switch back and forth between them. And you can also like just double tap your home button and switch between them that way. But it's easier when it's like right next to it.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're just waiting for Director to return. Let's say we just run into Alicia first with your word.
He'll walk over and say, Alicia, one of the crew members spotted an encampment up ahead. I looked down. The Ether made it pretty easy to see, but I saw no people, no bodies. It looks entirely abandoned and untouched. I was heading to tell the captain if we wanted to investigate.
Sorry. So, encampment, it looked like it was likely... I guess at this we can't tell, but it
looked abandoned.
Abandoned, okay.
Awareness, Nox rolled quite well on his awareness check. So I think what you would know at a glance, it definitely is some of the free people, so it might mean travelers who were making their way across here who encamped here. It might mean refugees from Karaznethil. It might mean other survivors from Direct's ship, because you're heading in the direction of Karaznethil. It's where Direc's folks were.
And was the encampment tidy, about as tidy as you would expect a regular encampment to be, or was it
you have to get closer?
Okay,
you have to get closer. He's quite good, but he's not, even with a spyglass.
I was wondering if it was an obvious sign that, maybe a tent was knocked over or whatever.
I didn't notice anything burning or bodies, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. She says I think we should at least check it out on the way. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time there, but if we can find somebody who is there and get some information, that's useful. If they just decided to pick up and move on their own, it's a little unusual that they didn't take anything with them, but I don't know what we can do without signs that they were attacked. If they were attacked, we should find out who it is and see if we can rescue them.
You never know who gets left behind in these situations.
Yep. So
this place isn't that hospitable.
Sorry about that. I had to chase the dog. I'm sorry.
Chewie!
Yeah, that puppy, Lord. He's a handful.
How old is it?
He's, let's see. He's just fixing to be 5 months old.
Okay.
He'll be 5 months in a couple weeks.
I forgot you guys got him when he was such a young puppy.
Yeah, he was. He was 2 months when we got him. And he's fundamentally house trained at this point. But we haven't got him crate trained. And really haven't got him harness trained. So, but the harness is fixing to have to come because he's at the point now where he'll get out of his yard. That's what I was doing. I was chasing him from the neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, get back here.
Yeah. So,
there's a whole bunch of that.
Our last pup, Emmy Lou, was like that. She was an escape artist, so you'd have to, chase after her, and she was a fucking pain in the ass when she got out. Anna Banana is such a homebody. The one time she got out of our yard on the other side, I heard crying outside, and I'm like, where the hell is Anna? And she's on the other side of the gate that she managed to get herself out of, but couldn't get back in. She just wanted to get back in with us.
Yep, I want to come back in now.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I don't want.
Yeah, it's hard out here.
I want to be a good dog again.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Emmy was a good dog too. She just liked running quite a bit. So okay, so then Jurek, you'll find Jurek and be able to bring him up to speed for what you saw.
Yes, he'll as me and Alicia head towards the captain, we'll pull Durak in and say, found an encampment down below that is either abandoned or something happened. I didn't see any signs of enemies or damage, but it's maybe something worth checking out. So, if you have anything to prep before we go down there, it'd be a good idea to get it ready. I'm sure the captain will want to investigate.
Yeah, we need to make sure we inform her.
So we'll head in that direction.
Give me just a second here. I'm checking one thing. Okay. So what? When you come before, we'll cut to you guys all being on the bridge to Captain Coghammer, and the lookout has joined you guys as well. And the lookout says that it looks to Warden, the supplies. And Captain Coghammer looks at you, Jurek, and says, do you think from your ship, perhaps, survivors?
It could be.
Then I think we cannot leave it unexplored then. Which I don't wish to push more burden on you all, but you may be best equipped to deal with whatever might be waiting there and to assist with any survivors.
Yeah, you've lost enough crew. We can't ask you to settle down until it's safe.
Malgra, I think, says, we'll prepare defenses here in the event it is a trap. And Captain Coghammer says, then we'll transport you with... there's like... not the like full aether rigs, but there's effectively like buoys or something that they can attach to Leisha and Nox, and to have allow Durek to transport them over there. You guys can get down. You'll need Durek to be able to actually drag yourself over, but that way you guys can get from the airship over to this landmass. Then we're putting you as close as we can, but keep at a respectable distance in the event there is anything on there. Anything you guys wish to prep before you set out for this outpost or whatever the encampment is?
I don't think so. Maybe bring an extra bit of food and rations in case we find somebody in desperate need of them.
That's a good thought.
And take a few of the... let's see. Bring like... We brought some medicine supplies, I think, as well. We talked about that, so just in case they need it.
Okay. Well, the medical supplies, remember, it's typically Aqua Garanis you'd make use of.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I got my grappling hook and some rope, so in case we need it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to catch back onto the airship if it needs to. It's like, okay, we're now close enough to this.
It's been a while since we thought of this. I can't remember what his name is. The guy who throws fish in the Muppets. Yeah. It's a running joke from myself and my friends when we were in our early 20s, and we all watched, I think it was The Great Muppet Caper together. And there's a great bit while they're trying to break in, and they're talking about, well, what do we have? And he comes running up, and he's like, I brought the paper towels! And it's like, how is that helpful? So our go-to line when someone's like, oh, I've got this, and it's not useful at all, is the, oh, I got the paper towels!
Yeah. One of these days, it's going to be useful, right?
One of these days, yeah. I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, great character. Anyway, I guess then we see the airship drifts, within about maybe like 100 yards away from it. And then, Durek, you've made sure to supply the buoys to Nox and to Leisha. Durek, this is your first time setting out since the destruction of your vessel. How you feeling?
He feels fine.
Okay.
He's got his armor. He knows he can do whatever he needs to.
All right. And then the ether rig launches into the skies of Shaman, and you begin drifting over towards this. Anything you guys are doing or wanting to prep?
I definitely think I'm watching to make sure there's no other forces of chaos in the air.
Sure.
Yeah, and Nox is keeping an eye because something could be fireballed from this distance.
Okay. Why don't you guys...
Alicia's pulled on her mask. So.
Okay. So let's... Let me just remind myself with... I think it's extra dice you get with... group tests. I'm just going to refresh my memory. Extended. Where's opposed? Or maybe it grants advantage and just reduces the difficulty. So there is a concept of like passive perception in this called natural awareness, but you guys are actively looking for stuff. So let me see here. Help. I thought they had a sidebar about that.
And I think Alicia is probably scanning the outskirts of the like the area just outside the encampment. See if she sees like any movement, any obvious signs of ambush, something like that.
Sure. So why don't Alicia give us an awareness check, please? Durek, give us an awareness check for looking for signs of chaos.
Awareness, there.
Is that a 3 or a 4, Kevin?
Difficulty. This will be a 4 for each of you.
DN target. Okay, I got it.
Okay. So, Leisha, as far as the rest of the place, you cannot see it. As you're getting closer, you're also getting a clearer view of this. There is the bark of the trees that are poking their way out of these coppery tinged blades of grass have the quality, that dark quality of like raw iron to them. And these trees themselves have no, it's almost like it is caught in a late autumn cycle where whatever leaves may have been on these iron trees have long since fallen. But you see no disturbances in the vast swaths of rolling hills covered by coppery grass. Durek, as you're getting closer in, you see no signs of the stink or the buzzing of those flies that you saw before. And the encampment, while the campfire is cold, there does not appear to be any signs of corruption or sickness, no blood.
Okay.
There is a couple of things knocked over. Not tents. You would guess, for one, this does seem to have been, just from the crafting and the make of these supplies you've got here, they're probably Dwarden, but they're definitely not from your ship. And there's something unusual about them. There's the amount of wood that is used in the supplies, and unusual wood, and some of the larger, I don't know. You may even guess that this may have been people from Karaznethil, where you've heard there's a strange is a pejorative word, but an unconventional blending of Sylvaneth and Dwarden traditions. This might be a camp of refugees from Karaznethil. So you guys land inside the camp. What do you guys do next? There is no sign of any living thing here.
Yes, we look for what they might have left behind to see if there's any clues to when they got here, how long they stayed, and where they went.
Yeah.
So if you're looking around, what you would find is that it does not seem like there's a great deal of supplies here. It seems like there was a lot of being... it seems like there was probably around 4 or 5 individuals here, plus at least one Sylvaneth. And the layer of, ochre-colored dust that has settled in over everything makes you think it's been a little while since this thing has been abandoned. The hearth is, when you get close and are able to put your hand to it, ice cold. And the what do you call it? The overturned things, Kirok, now that you're down here and able to see it, it looks as if almost people were running from camp. And there's strange little, now that you're in close, you can see it, not burns in the sense of holes through, but there are scorch marks on the outside of some of the tent. Small ones. Almost as if like embers fell down or something hot fell on top of here. Just let me take a look at the... Oh, I'm going to use my GM screen, so I bet you it's got the skill list in there. It's a Cubicle 7 screen, so I bet you it's got it. Yes. C7 does it again. Anyone have training in survival?
Let's see. Survival. Nope.
Sounds like something somebody should have.
You would think.
But no.
Okay, well, you can use... Then who has the highest mind score?
I have a 4.
I have a 2.
Yeah, I've got a 3, so...
Okay. Nox, why don't you give us a survival check then? Remember, you can use skills untrained in this game. You guys are pretty high-end heroes.
And target number?
Target number here would be, I think, 4 as well.
Okay.
Wow,
He's
nice roll.
on it. His witch side is giving him an unfair advantage, I think.
So the base level was going to be one of the things you do in the game, Will, is also you set like a challenge level. It tells you how many successes you need, and then each success in excess of that, typically you could spend it like you could momentum in 2D20 games or the similar type of stuff. So get extra qualities from it. Nox, what you can tell right now is you can find the tracks, and from the direction, they seem to be running off in a direction further into away from here and sort of near the edge of this area.
Okay.
You have one extra success. You could ask me a question about that. For instance, the pacing of the tracks, how old the tracks are, any other bit of extra information you could...
I would lean towards how old they are. Just that tells me if there's a chance we might find something if we pursued them.
Okay. The tracks, they probably are weeks old at this point. Like, this has been... Whoever's been here has been gone quite a long time. And Durex, that's when you hear something that sounds like a quiet shuffling in armor, metal on metal, from deeper in the coppery grass. What do you do, if anything?
Draw my rivet gun.
Okay. Leisha, I think being the tactical-minded person you are, while Nox is setting the tracks, you see Durek gets one of his guns out.
She glances over at him and, unfortunately she has the mask on, so, and she's kind of looking where he's looking and then turns her head to look in that direction.
Okay, so if you look over there, you first do not see anything, and that's when there is a sound of... it sounds like something detaching, like as if you're taking off like a piece of equipment or you're unclasping a metal component, but it sounds like dozens of them because there's just and at first you see at a long range, so 2 zones away from you guys, first it looks as if sparks when a hammer hits hot metal kind of fly off, and it's only when they begin forming into like a formation like sparrows that you realize, or starlings, you realize that it's actually, they seem to be birds or bats or something of metal, of hot metal. But what that really draws your attention is the low metallic growl. It sounds like a combination of a blast furnace and some massive lizard. And let me get some tokens down here for the GM line.
Now I know what we should have done with that grappling hook. We should have had it attached to the ship, rope down here, so that we could just get out of here if we needed to, but no. And you did say they're a little like birds and bats, so it's unlikely we'd be able to escape.
Well, they are fiery. It's a fiery swarm, almost like little molten chunks that have cast themselves up. All right, and...
Cool. Well, we'll see if Fireball, the detonative force, is enough to damage them versus the fire.
Fight fire with fire.
If Fireball doesn't work, I'll Arcane Bolt them.
Yeah.
I'm going to use these things to represent the swarm. All right. Now.
Let's get those burning crows from Pathfinder 2 adventure path.
Yeah, those things were fun. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to set up the health bars here. You guys, boom. And yeah. All right. So, guys, this is roughly what you see.
Oh, my lord.
Appears to be the outline of some form of dragon, but unlike the illustration, it is almost entirely a bronze color to the skeleton. And in the heart of it, there is what looks like a forge. And you can see still flaking off of its body, almost like bits of sparks flying off, were these fiery, forge bats. So let's get our initiative order here.
I think it wants to be friends. That's
Quite possibly. Let me add. There we go. Dragon. I'll add. I'm not gonna get rid of my things. Go ahead and click on your tokens, guys, and then I think there is an initiative button on the character sheets.
Yep. Just under combat abilities to the right of the
Is that where it is?
check boxes.
Okay.
You got to click the text of initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's highlighted. Yep, got it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, we got everyone in there.
Yep.
There is that, and
Oh, good. It goes first.
there is that. All right. Okay. So, top of the round, we have the. Oh, I should probably give this thing a name.
Iron Fang Dragon?
Here we go.
Bronze Fang Dragon.
The Alloy Drake. So this thing is a long range away from you. So the first. Okay, so first thing it will do it will launch itself into the sky. And those wings, though, they seem to be like almost spools of wire. It launches itself up and comes down over where you guys are. And
That snake's fast.
it will, yeah, it's quite fast in the air. Oh, actually, no, it'll do that. It'll do that, and then it. Will open its jaws. That forge heart of it begins to burn even brighter, and it unleashes a cloud of burning ash and molten flecks of metal that fill the zone. This is a minor hazard. So let me get to your 138. Here we go. So what it does is would each of you kindly give us a fortitude check, please? This will be against a target number of 4, but you need 3 successes.
I cannot make that.
You do have metal you can spend, and you do have soul fire.
Oh, that's not good.
Double training won't do anything. Double focus won't do anything.
But you have to have 3 successes, you said, right?
3 successes, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
There's nothing either can do for me.
Okay.
All right. So I have to spend metal first.
If you wish to spend metal to, if you're doubling your training, then yes.
Oh yeah, double and nothing is nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my armor doesn't help, I suppose.
Sorry?
My armor doesn't help any.
Does not help with this, no.
Okay.
Not
I
with this
just
rule,
want
at
to make
least.
sure.
Yeah. Nice! Oh, man. So you could spend metal to re-roll that 1 dice. You're 1 off from a success.
Yeah, let's do that. So metal goes from
Because you'll get your
7.
metal back at the start of your turn anyway.
Right. Oh, I can't change it on there apparently. Okay.
Oh, hold up, that could be because I'm an idiot and I didn't give you the. I did this on the other tokens as well. I didn't give you guys the. I didn't set them up so you could edit. You're good to go now. Sorry.
Okay. There we go. Yep. So 0 and just roll a d6, Kevin.
Yeah, let's roll a d6. Let's see. You see a 4 or higher. Come on. Nice. All right. So this comes down. And Nox, did you make your? Oh, you got 1 success.
I can only get 1 success.
Okay, so then Nox and Leisha, you each take 4 points of damage. Your armor cannot protect you from it. So it'll come from your toughness, and you are poisoned until the start of the.
I hate poison.
So minus. Poison to the end of your next turn. So it'll be -1 to your dice pool, right?
And we can't spend metal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, well, there goes my plan. I hate these things.
Hold on here. Let's see. Do any of you have any abilities to get rid of conditions, though?
Nope.
Let me check Healing Spirit. Heal your injuries. No, it's just recover. I can use metal, but since I can't use metal,
you can
that doesn't
use
work.
10 drops of Aquagaranis to get rid of a condition.
Okay, got it.
It restores
Is that-
10 toughness and removes 1 condition.
Okay.
Does that take an action?
No, it's free.
Oh, sweet.
If you want to spend that, you can spend it. So that's what it's done. And it is also in this zone right now. So where you guys all found yourself near the right adjacent to the camp, it is also a hazard. So it means that it is filled with this fiery stuff. You will take 1 point of damage if you are in here at the. If you start your turn in there.
So we'll take another point of damage.
Yeah. So, quick question. So this what's it, Iron Drake, is he in
Alloy Drake.
Alloy Drake. It's in the same zone as us?
It is, yeah.
No? Okay.
Now, hold on.
He's flying, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is flying.
That's all right.
But close enough for you to get. And he does have 1 medal as well.
Yeah.
So I think he will try and chomp on. Lisa, you're the biggest target here. What is your defense?
Other quick question. Can I use I can only use the, what are they called? The drops on my turn?
Correct.
Okay, got it. My defense is 1 with 3 armor.
Remember, the defense. What I'm asking for is the adjective.
Check mark.
Good, great.
Got it. Yep. Defense is great.
Great. Okay. Then this thing, I got a DC 4. So this Drake does land down, and then its teeth glowing from the heat of its breath. It lands and tries to chomp you.
Okay.
Let's see. I need 4. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points of damage. Your armor does apply against this.
Okay, so that's
It's 2
3,
net, right?
so 2 damage. Yep.
Okay, so you get in. This thing chomps down on you. It is so much bigger than Alicia as well.
Yeah.
Did Alicia take wounds? Or shouldn't she be at 1 wound?
She should be at one wound.
One wound. Okay.
Okay.
I thought I fixed that. Okay.
Then it is Jurek. Your turn. You get your medal back. What would you like to do? You will take 1 point of damage that'll come from your toughness because you're in this hazard. Unless you've got something that
The blue bar.
protects you from it.
Did you say it's the red or the blue one, John?
It's blue.
Blue. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
So
I
you.
reckon. So what's the action economy? I'm sorry.
So you get an action. You can move one zone, and you get a free action.
Okay.
And you can use metal to gain another action if you want, right?
Exactly. And your start of your turn, you'll get 1 medal back.
Right. Let's see here. Let me just check out. Okay. I was just looking at my equipment.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to first of all take to the air.
Okay.
So I'm air mobile.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably just gonna shoot it with the rivet gun first, just to see what
Okay.
happens.
So make sure you're adding your medal back when you get it, though. Your green bar.
I thought I did. I'm sorry.
Did you hit enter?
I
there we
must
go.
not have hit enter.
Yep, I
That
see
must have
you.
been what it was.
No
That's
problem.
what I always forget.
Me too.
No.
All right, so Direk, you fire up your Aether rig, you zoom up into the air. Do you wish to be in the same zone, or do you want to be one zone away?
Let's see. So what is it like? Short, medium, long?
Exactly. So the range for your weapons, a short-range weapon is anything within the same zone you occupy, typically 15 to 30 feet. Moving to any spot within the short range is a free action. Medium range is 50 to 60 feet away. It's adjacent to the current zone. Long range is 2 zones away, about 100 feet away. And extreme is anything more than 3.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to move to medium.
Okay.
Because that's in the range.
Those forge bats are about they're long range right now, so they are 3 zones away.
Okay.
2 zones away. 2 zones away.
Yeah. All right, so let me attack this thing.
Okay. So then So the alloy drake has a defense of superb,
Okay.
and you've got a good accuracy, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is good.
So superb is 2 steps above, which means it'll be a 6 you're rolling against. So your difficulty is a 6.
Having doubts. I don't think I can hit anything either.
Okay. So you activate your thing. It's 0 successes. That is your focus point. Can you squeeze one out of there?
Yeah, he can get a 5 to a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now you could spend metal to re-roll, or you could spend metal to take another action if you'd like. What I'll tell you right now is with that will be doing 2 points of damage as you're firing. This thing is ricocheting off of its armor.
Okay.
And I will remind you, you may all remember this well, Will, but you do have one thing that has the rend quality. That's your, what is it, your aetherite saw or whatever?
Okay. So that's what we'll get into next.
Yeah, and your saw, what it does is, I'm just going to double check it, that I'm not confusing us with Imperium Maledictum. I think it reduces armor. Rend. Yeah. When attacking with a rend weapon, each result of a 6 on your attack roll removes 1 point of armor.
Ooh.
So your Aethermantic Saw, if you want to try and reduce this thing's armor, it's a hell of a way of doing that.
Nice.
That would require
being
I'd have to
close.
move again back into close range or short range.
Yeah.
So
what you
that'll
could
be for
do,
next time.
there is an action of charge. So if you choose to swap over to your Aethermatic Saw and get back in range for the Alloy Drake, you would gain +1 to your dice pool for the attack as you charge in.
Okay.
Do you want to do that, or you want to try something different?
Yeah. No, let's do that. Is that a metal that I have to
Yes,
spend?
so your metal will be for your second action.
Back to 0. Will it prompt me to add a die or anything?
It will. It'll ask you about bonus at the end.
Okay.
So what is your melee?
Plus.
So again, you can't get worse than 6. So as you race in, it's a 6 you're rolling against, and then when it prompts you for it to say to 1, remember, don't put the plus sign in, or the world will
just put a
implode.
1 in.
Yeah.
Nice. Submit.
Hey, you
I got
got
a
it.
success.
Nice. And do you have? No focus.
I got
And that's a
extra damage.
6, which means, what does it look like as you get in with your saw and begin carving away this thing's armor?
You know, he flew up there and he throws out his arm and and nothing's working. So he's like, all right, fine. So all of a sudden that saw just powers up and it's loud, just like everything else he's got.
Yeah.
And it starts roaring and it's almost like he turned the flight off.
Yeah.
He just comes barreling down like a rocket. Swings that thing right as he hits.
Awesome. So that is 2, and because you reduce it, we'll do 1 point of damage to it. This thing's roaring around, steam is coming off, and there is almost like a molten bronze that is flying out as you're carving off the covers from this. And bits of, you realize now you're in close, there are bits of these ember or these force bats that are attached to the outside that you're just like a carapace exterior. Nox, you were up next. What are you doing?
Taking my toughness.
Yes, you take 1 more point from being in here.
And I'm going to move away from the dragon and the incoming swarms,
Okay.
1 zone.
There's no attack opportunity in the game, by the by.
Yeah, taking the 10 drops so that I can get rid of this poison status.
Okay.
Because does that heal like toughness as well?
It does. 10 up to 10.
Okay, so I'll go back to 7 then.
Okay.
And then I am going to spend my first action attempting to fling. Oh no, the swarms are way past my range.
Are your spells long range or are they
medium?
I mean, you're moving out of one zone to, unless you're staying within the same zone where this hazard is. You could have moved one zone closer to them. They'd be only medium away then.
Yeah, then I'm going to get eaten.
Leisha,
No, let's go ahead and let's move towards them then, and then I'll try to fireball them.
All right.
Hopefully that'll work. And I get no bonus.
You're fireballing who?
The swarms
Okay, good.
that are coming.
I was like, I'm still in the same region as the Alloy Drake. Oh my god.
Okay, I got 3 successes with my focus points.
Okay, very nice. All right,
And
so
I'm going
then
to do extra damage.
Okay. And let's see here. So you clap your hands together, creating a smoldering ball of fire, and you hurl at your enemies. Each takes 3 points of damage as the area erupts in flames. Okay, let me check.
It's just like the hazard with the poison, that it'll take more damage if they stay there.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so...
I doubt they're going to stay there, though, so... But they will take the lingering fire, though.
Assuming fire
at least
hurts
once.
Because it is a swarm, because they are both in the same zone, they take double damage from your fireball. So what does it look like as it detonates and we see a swath of these things falling to the ground?
So when he claps his hand and pulls it back, it's like a kaleidoscope of gear-shaped flame wheels that just shoot out, and it just grows just bigger and bigger and bigger, and then at the last second it shrinks into a little bead of fire and then blasts out. And then there's a huge explosion louder than a direct saw.
And hunks of slag fall to the ground. You still have 1 medal if you'd like to do something different.
Did any of them survive?
Yeah, there's still 4.
They're getting another
You can
fireball.
see the tokens or the health bars, can you?
I can.
Yeah, that's how many left.
They're getting another fireball.
Okay.
If I can do one thing, I'm taking out swarms. Come on.
Nice.
Yeah, all damage.
And can you get with the focus?
Yes, I can get one more.
So yeah.
And then the second time, it's even louder than the first because he seems to be drawing all the fire and static from what the dragon left behind and just blasting him with more of it. He goes, fireworks.
Okay. Leisha, you're up. So first, you take 1 point of damage from the hazard.
Yep. She's about to use what is it? It's 10 drops to...
10 drops, yeah.
10 drops. So she goes ahead and does that. I'm not going to reduce that because this is going to recover everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the first thing she does. And she says, we don't have time for this. She's like getting a little pissed off. And she, so step 1, do this. Hit enter.
Okay.
Get my toughness back. Okay.
Awesome.
And then she uses 1 metal to cast Light of Sigmar.
Oh, nice. What does that do?
And that does... Sorry, I had to close this again. Make sure I get this right. I
think you can post it in chat.
Yeah. Is it this right here? No, I don't want healing. There we go. Light of Sigmar. So she spends 1 metal, and... Enemies in your zone suffer 1 damage per success. When you use this miracle, you can choose to spend metal to have the damage ignore armor. Since she has 2 currently, as long as she gets a success, that's what she's going to be doing.
Now, we talked before, do you need to spend metal to invoke it, or is it when you spend metal that
is... No, we're pretty sure that this is going to require 2 metal to do this. So you need 1 metal, period, to invoke it.
Right.
And then,
right.
And then if I have a second metal, and if I have a second metal, I could use this. So I do have 2.
Okay.
Are
you spending both?
I want to see what happens first. Because in other words, if she doesn't get any hits, there's no reason to use the metal, right?
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yep. Yeah. So go ahead. Why don't you give us your devotion check?
Devotion check. All right. It's yep.
I love how the miracle specifies enemies.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. And target DN was what?
5.
5. Okay, yeah. Not spectacular, but no devotion bonus.
Oh.
You have a focus bonus of 1. You do get a success.
Yeah, so you'll get 1 success. That'll be 1 point of damage.
And then if she uses another metal, that just does 1 damage.
Yeah, it just does 1 damage. You might be better served to just cast it again.
Yeah, I think that's what she's
or re-roll.
Yeah, use your metal to...
Yeah, she's going to re-roll it.
Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and cast again at difficulty 5.
Yep. Come on. Ugh.
There you go.
That's...
But 1 success. Still only 1 success.
1 success.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so you call on the Light of Sigmar, hits down, and the lightning kind of plays across this thing. Yeah. The alloy drake does not seem to be affected. You still have your action, though. What would you like to do with that?
She doesn't want to be in this. She figures the thing's going to come after her, but she just wants to back up so that it doesn't. She's not in the same zone she's currently in. So
you could attack and then retreat if you like, or you could go on defense, right? Because I think defend.
Yeah.
Does it increase your?
Defend, but you guard an ally.
Yeah.
Or defend a zone.
Oh yeah, right. That helps an ally.
Yep. Dodge would be the one I think you're looking for.
Yeah, dodge would increase your defense by 1 step, or you could attack this thing. What do you think?
She's going to attack it, and then try to and then step back.
What is your melee again?
Melee is is good. Not great.
Okay.
This isn't going to be.
Okay, so same thing. It's a 6 you're going against because the defense on this thing is superb.
Okay, and that's going to be
difficulty 6.
Right, but what do I click to?
Your weapon.
Oh, the
Sigmarite
weapon.
I'm assuming you're using your Sigmarite longsword.
Yep.
Okay.
She still has and target DN is
6.
6. No bonus.
Oh,
nice.
That's 2 successes.
Oh, because of the focus point. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so it's 3 points of damage, which means 2 get through. Because you see the opening that Jurek has carved with this thing, and then you're able to lay into the weakened armor. All right, then he hits so hard he's knocked off roll 20.
Yeah, I know. Hold on.
All right, so Alicia, I don't think you have any metal left now. Mm-hmm. So then that is the end of your round. Top of the round, the Alloy Drake. Now, I believe... I'm just going to double check to make sure this thing's got... I think the hazard only lasts until the end of the round, is what I think.
Yeah, for my fireball, the hazard, if I can make it last more than a round if I spent successes on it. So I'm not sure if the dragon breath works.
It must be the same thing too. Yeah. So the fire kind of goes out. All right. So then the Alloy Drake gets its metal back as well. So. First thing, Alicia, if you've backed out of that area, you see from like the remnants of the fire, this thing leaps forward, borne by those wings to get to you. Although, Durek, you heard it too. Let's do this. I'm going to use its first action. Durek, what is your defense? I think it's
average.
Average, okay. And this thing's attack is great, which is 2 above, so it's a DC 2. This thing leaps at you, or its head snaps around Durek. And, oh man, that's a lot of ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. All right, that is 8 points of... damage, Durek, but you will apply your armor, which I think is a 2.
Yeah, my armor's a 2, and then there's a note down there on my Aether rig that says +1 armor. I don't know if that's already included in that.
I don't think so. I think it would be 3 then total.
So it'd be 3, right?
Yeah, that's what heavy armor is. So 1.
Yeah.
5. I did roll a 6, so here's the thing. It has its jaws have that rending quality as well. I rolled 1 6, so it actually reduces your armor by 1. But remember, you got a talent that is for repairing armor.
Yeah.
Okay, so it grabs you and kind of shakes you in the air, and you're able to get yourself free. That was a total of, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage minus 3 for your armor is 5 toughness you take.
All right.
And then, having chomped you, it leaps forward at you, Alicia. I'm going to spend my metal to try and get you. Your defense is great.
Yep.
Okay, and its attack is great. I need a 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I did roll. It's got 1 focus with that. That's interesting. It's 4, and I did roll a 6. So your armor is actually reduced by 1 as well, Alicia, after it applies to this, and you take 6 points of damage. So it'll be 3 net you take, and then your armor is reduced by 1 by its rending jaws.
Yeah. Don't like this thing.
Jurek, you're up next. What are you doing?
Let's see here. So, yeah, I definitely am going to hit him back with a saw one more time, for sure.
So be free to move into his zone. There is no hazard any longer.
Yay. Because I certainly couldn't handle that, I don't think.
Yeah. And hold on.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, there is nothing for outnumbered. I think. No. So, what are you charging again?
Yeah, what does charging do? Adds a damage die?
First of all, you get your metal back as well. Plus 1 to your attack. There is no damage because it's all based on number of successes. It's all kind of wrapped in together.
Yeah. So, yeah, submit. Melee bonus 1.
Okay,
submit.
1. Yep. Nice!
2 successes.
And you get a 6 there, too? Nice! Look at that! And, you don't have any focus. So that is 3 points of damage, and you flinched away the last of its armor.
Nice.
So that is 3 points of damage. on this thing, and then you have your 1 medal.
Yeah, which I can use to do that again, basically.
Hell yeah, you can.
Yeah. I'm starting to learn the action economy.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too. Now that if you have another thing you want to use, it has no armor right now.
Yeah, so that now would be time to maybe bring the rivet gun back into effect.
Okay. So if you wish, so you've rented this thing, and then you kind of change over, pulse your Aether rig to get some distance, and then go ahead and make your attack roll.
Come on, baby.
The reason this is would be beneficial also is because your accuracy is better than your melee.
Yeah.
Right? So, because your accuracy is good, its defense is superb. I think it's still 6, though, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I got the focus point, right?
Yeah, can you get 1 out of that?
Nah. He's 1 short.
Ah. Now,
Dang.
you could. What about Soulfire, Ian?
Soulfire, yeah, you can achieve maximum success on a roll. So he could turn all those into 6s.
If you want to draw on the gift of Grungni.
Hell yeah.
I'm not opposed to this roll.
Like I said, he's starting to, he's starting to realize the power of the gods. With that dream and then seeing it in real and everything, it's all starting to add up. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, so then that would count as a 6 on each of your dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 points of damage.
Tick down.
Why don't you tell us what it looks like, then I'll show you what happens to the health bar.
All right. So yeah, he brings his left hand up, which is where that rivet gun is, and just hammers down on it. I mean, just unleashes the hate and discontent.
Yeah, and there's the fire of Grungni. There's also manifesting in it. Look at this.
Yeah, glows up.
Boom! As you're blasting away parts of this thing, it is very unhappy with you.
Yeah. And I assume because Lalisha's Stormcast Eternal not part of the soul bond that she doesn't. She would have been all for it, but she doesn't have to agree to it.
It does not. No.
Okay.
It's only unfortunately the Stormcast are exempt from that.
Yes.
Nox.
Righty, Metal comes back, and he is going to get inspired by the use of Soulfire. He's not going to draw it on himself, but he's going to twist the strands of the ether and pull fire into the blades and weapons of his allies.
Nice.
Inferno Blades does not specify what kind of weapon.
No, it's anything.
There you go.
Nice.
That is 4 successes.
Excellent.
Sorry, no, wait. 4 successes.
So,
and we're gonna last 2 additional, so 2 rounds.
Very nice. So everyone gets +1 damage with their weapons as they blaze with Axion fire.
And then he's gonna spend his metal to act again.
Yeah.
And he's gonna pull the strands of the flaked armor from the dragon with the weave and toss a mystic shield at Leisha.
Nice.
Increasing her defense by 1 step.
Oh, nice.
Nice. So basically, it's back to where it was.
That's 2 successes. So for 3 rounds.
Nice.
Oh, no, for 2 rounds.
Okay.
2 rounds.
All right. So now you have.
No, it doesn't change your armor. It increases your actual defense.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
The defense goes from, but you already had great. So you're at superb now.
Nice.
All right.
Since you're in melee range of it, I figured you need it.
Yeah, it sounds good. She's medium right now, but I think the thing.
We moved in.
Yeah. Leisha, you're up. So you get 1 medal back.
Okay.
What do you do next?
She says, praise Sigmar when she sees the effects. Again, that might have come from Grumnir, but she's still...
all attributed to Sigmar.
Yeah. It's through Sigmar. Grumnir is helping Sigmar here. Anyway, she's still inspired. And she... So, is it the case, then, that she can use her what's it called, talent, and then also a talent does not count as an action?
Yeah, well, which talent are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of doing
talent or a miracle?
The miracle.
Okay.
Yeah. The Light of Sigmar again.
Yeah, you could try. Yeah.
So she's going to do that, and then she'll be able to attack afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sure. So she's
You can
going
also
to
attack twice if you prefer. Metal just gives you an extra action. One of the uses of metal is that.
Yeah. She's going to still use Light of Sigmar. She's just...
Okay.
I want this thing to work, damn it.
I understand.
So she's going to do her devotion.
Okay, so it's a 5 you're looking for?
Yep. Got it. Submit. No bonus. Come on.
Nice. Can you squeeze 4?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Nope.
All right.
That's fine.
So what does it look like as you call on Sigmar's light?
Maybe she, like before, she was like pushing a little too much. She had said, we don't have time for this. And this time she like top pauses, takes a breath. And it's actually, she's very calm as the light flows from her into this creature. And basically starts taking pieces off of it. It's like, it looks like sunlight hitting it, but as it does, the explosions on its body are much more than sunlight.
Yeah.
And
then you have your action as well.
Sure, and now she's going to swing with her... before she does that, in between those, she's going to take another... she's at 6. She's not going to worry about drinking some more of that stuff. And then she brings the sword back down on the creature.
So it'll be a target number of 6.
Yep.
It's got superb defenses, and go ahead. It has no armor right now, though.
Yep, which is exactly what we want to hear. Come on. No bonus. Yeah.
Can you get that?
I can get 1. No, up to 6 now.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
So, you got no metal, right? All right.
After rolling, you can double your focus, and that would turn it into 1 success.
He has no metal left, or she has no metal left, though.
No.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah. Okay. Then it is the Alloy Drake's turn. In one round, it lost almost more than half of its health. So it turns, and you can see bits of that molten ichor, or whatever it makes up its blood from the strange creatures of Shaman. Its wings spread out almost like a wiry lattice work, and there is strange energies moving between it as it casts itself up into the air and begins fleeing from you guys.
Oh, no.
It has no interest in dying to you. So it will be at long range by the end of its round. Jirek, you get your 1... what do you call it? Your 1... Oh, hold on. It could hustle. It might actually be the extreme.
Is there a way to increase the range of our spells?
I don't think so.
That sucks.
But it is at extreme range, so it is 3 zones away right now. Jirek, you get your 1 metal back. What would you like to do?
That's what I'm thinking about. I mean, we basically defeated it.
Yeah.
It's going away.
So is it
We don't need to...
horizontally at extreme range, or is it vertically at extreme range?
It is, it's an extreme range. I'm not sure. We'll wait till your turn to worry about geometrics of it, but Jirek, you could, in theory, move 1 zone, and then it would be...
That's what I was thinking. I could move 1 zone and then try and blast it with my...
if you'd like,
drill launcher.
You would be aware that this is likely it's just a creature that lives here, right? The mortal realms are dangerous places, but it is also a dangerous thing that is relatively close to Karaznethil.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the engine.
Okay.
And we'll move 1 zone closer, and that makes it long, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's try the old drill launcher for the first time.
Okay, so it'll be against a... Oh, hold on. It's a blast. Blast does damage to the other targets. You still want to hit him for more. Difficulty
piercing.
Is a 6. Piercing is just a type of damage. Piercing, slashing, crushing.
Okay.
Yeah. But, the damage or defense is still superb, so it'll be a 6. Difficulty. And your thing would be flaming as well. Nice! Oh, that's great.
So
That would be
1 more damage.
Yeah, and you've got 1 focus. That's actually 2 successes. So that's 4 damage, 5 damage total. What does it look like as you blow this thing to bits
I was going to say I don't know exactly what the drill launcher looks like, but it says it's two-handed, so I'm thinking it's like a bazooka almost.
Love it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of my mindset. Yeah. So he just pulls this thing and that drills and just right into that thing. And of course now it's on fire too, so it just pierces right through it.
Yep.
And breaks its back.
So with bits of bronze and other detritus falling to the ground, guys, that brings us to the end of our session.
How do you manage to always line it up at the last minute? I wasn't even paying attention to the clock. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Nox was about to hike up his robes and hustle after it and see if he could get in range to shoot it.
Yeah. So the so with that, Jurek, you look down. This is the first time that you have called on that Soulbound or the Soulbound link between you and Nox, so you guys could both probably there's a little bit of like shared emotion between the two.
Yeah, like when I roleplayed it earlier in the last session, that it kind of drained him a bit when he used it. But now that there's two of them, the drain is far less on a single one of them. Yeah. So he's not half as staggered.
Awesome. All right, yeah. Jurek swoops down. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to the end of our session, playing the Iron Groves of Karaznethil with Soulbound. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the adventure, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to games. For most of the campaigns we run on the channel, we have one that is the Warhammer games. So because we run a wide variety of Warhammer RPGs on the channel, we'll be, if you want to chat about that, there's also channels dedicated to finding a group, to GM discussions, to general bullshitting. There is a terrific community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If you are looking for something in their extensive catalog and it's not in stock, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MUSERMASHUP, all caps, all one word. It's listed in the description of the video, and you will save yourself 10% at checkout. That'll change at the end of September 2024. So if you're listening to a session, listening to this at after that time, come back to one of our more recent sessions, and you'll find what the current discount code is there. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Village. It's an international charity, an incredible organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, we have a series of mashup sessions we're playing over the last months of 2024. Next weekend we'll be playing the first of those, and the generous donors have been voting on what we're going to be combining. We are taking classic modules and mashing them up with games they're not designed to be played with. So we have next weekend the Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, which we'll be playing with 2D20 Acton Cthulhu. And we'll be having, as soon as that session's over, we'll be opening up voting for the next mashup. And if you donated $25 or more to the charity campaign since the start of the year, you'll be able to vote not only on what mashup we're going to be doing, we'll also be voting on what kind of heroes we'll be playing. Our generous donors have voted for this session to be a mixed group of partisans. So I'm looking forward to that session. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart heroes, Soulbound heroes. So Robert, John, and Will, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations. Will, on downing your first adversary in the mortal realms, and an alloy dragon. So always Go ahead, John.
I was just saying that the dragon appearing was like, oh no. Oh, no.
I wanted you to get a sense of the scale of how tough you guys are, and it's pretty cool the scale of adversaries and how many you can face, and come out triumphant.
Yeah, I was just looking at Noctis' physical stats. He's like poor, average, poor.
Yeah, it was a wise move to keep him at a distance. I think things might have gone poorly for old Nox. Then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with probably back in the Great White North with our Canadian superheroes. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our soulbound heroes have been encountering on their way to Karaznethil. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.